Today we're going to solve multi-step inequalities. I've also attached the symbols that we talked about back in the spring, the notes for those describing words that have less than or equal to, or just less than, greater than or equal to, or just greater than. So it will help you when you are writing and solving an inequality. So we're going to go through several examples today. There's really nothing much more to this than doing your solving multi-step equations as well. So the first one is going to be 7q minus 1 is less than or equal to 29 plus 2q. Okay, we're going to solve this exactly as we would solve an equation. I'm going to move my variable. So I'm going to add a negative 2q to both sides. I will end up with 5q minus 1 is less than or equal to 29. I'm going to add 1 to both sides. 5q is less than or equal to 30. Now the symbol is less than or equal to. The coefficient is positive, so we're not going to be flipping that symbol. That's only when we're dividing or multiplying by a negative number. So therefore our answer is going to be q is less than or equal to 6. All right, example 2. Negative 7b is plus 19, is less than negative 16. All right, so I'm going to add a negative 19 to both sides. I will have set negative 7b is less than negative 35. Now my coefficient is negative, so I need to divide both sides by negative 7. When I'm dividing by a negative number, we need to remember to flip the symbol. So b, flip that symbol, is greater than 5. Okay, you must remember to flip the symbol when we multiply or divide by a negative coefficient. All right, you're also going to have problems that are going to involve the distributive property. So 3d minus 2 times 8d minus 9 is greater than 3 minus 2d plus 7. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is distribute. So I'm going to keep my 3d. Negative 2 times 8d is going to be a negative 16d. Negative 2 times negative 9 is positive 18, which is going to be greater than 3 minus 2d minus 7. Remember, we're distributing that. If you want to put a 1 in front, you know you're going to be distributing a negative 1. So negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. Negative 1 times 7 is negative 7. All right, now on this side, I know that I can combine like terms. So that's going to end up being negative 13d plus 18 is greater than. On the other side, I can combine my 3 and my negative 7. So I would have negative 2d minus 4. All right, now I'm going to move my d over. So I'm going to add 2d to both sides. And I'm going to get negative 11d plus 18 is greater than negative 4. I'm going to add a negative 18 to both sides. So I will have negative 11d is greater than negative 22. Now we have a negative coefficient again, so we need to divide both sides by negative 11. And d is greater than, flip that symbol. D is less than negative 2. D is less than negative 2. Okay, Now, there's something that we call an empty set. So if we solve an inequality and it's not a true statement, then we would say that this would be an empty set. An empty set. So let's try one of these empty sets, and then we're going to do one example of writing and solving, and we'll be done. All right, so an empty set. Let's solve this one. This would be example 4. We have 8 times t plus 2 minus 3 times t minus 4, and that is going to be less than 5 times t minus 7 plus 8. Okay, so now let's go ahead and distribute. So we're going to get 8t plus 16 minus 3t plus 12 is less than 5t minus 35 plus 8. Okay, so let's combine what we can. So on this side I can combine 8t and negative 3t. So that's going to give me 5t. And I can combine 16 and 12. So that's going to be plus 28 is less than, here it's going to be 5t minus 27. All right, so when I go ahead to move my 5t, it's going to cancel those t's out on both sides, and I'm going to be left with 28 is less than negative 27. So we know that this is a false statement. So no matter what value I substitute in for t, I'm always going to get a false statement. So because this is going to be a false statement, we are going to say that the solution is an empty set. Okay, so that's going to be an empty set. All right, let's do one last example. I'd like to write and solve an inequality. So we have 3 times a number minus 18 is at least 5 times the number plus 21. Sorry, it didn't all fit in one line. Okay, so let's break this down. We have 3 times a number. That number, just use any variable that you want. I personally am going to use n. So 3 times a number. Minus 18. Minus 18. So that's going to be minus 18. Now here is where you will need to remember what symbols to use, and that's why I attached those other 2 papers for notes. Is at least. So if it's at least, can it be more? Yes. Can it equal to? Yes. So therefore it's going to be greater than or equal to 5 times the number. So that would be 5n plus 21. And then you would go on and you would solve. So I'm going to subtract 5n from both sides. I will have negative 2n minus 18 is greater than or equal to 21. I'm going to add 18 to both sides. I will have negative 2n is greater than or equal to 39. Now remember, we are dividing by a negative coefficient. So n, flip that symbol, is going to be less than or equal to negative 19 and 5/10. Okay, that will do it for today.